Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm very excited and happy to bring this review. This is a figure I was definitely anticipating when it first got announced. And this is the DC Mcfarlane multiverse Clayface. And I'm so psyched to get into this figure. I am so psyched to review this figure. Super psyched, super excited, super excited. This is such an awesome figure. This is going to be such an awesome review. I hope you guys like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And let's just get into the figure right off of it. Let's get into it. So this is a huge box. This is a huge box. And it's a pretty huge figure. And just thank you, Mcfarlane. Just thank you. Thank you, Mcfarlane. I freaking love it. I just I just love it. I did not pull my. I still have the DC Universe Classics Clayface, the Matt Hagen version from Batman the Animated Series. I did not pull it out for this review. Totally forgot to do that. It's in my storage, and I mean, I can go and dig for it, but it would take me a while, and it just so unfortunately, I'm gonna be missing that comparison in this video. Unfortunately, but there will be some other comparisons. But definitely look down. Well, I don't have it set up in my playlist, but it's in one of my old videos where I reviewed that Clayface, and it's still a great Clayface. In some ways, it's still better than this new one. Even though that from what I'm seeing from this new one, I really love it already. I think once I get them out of packaging, I'll love it even more. I got it from Walmart, and I'm definitely going to start shopping on Walmart more because I'm seeing a lot of Marvel Legends and McFarlane figures there. And getting it on eBay is a hassle because people want to overcharge. Like for this figure, people charging like in the upper 50s. It's ridiculous. It's a $40 figure, and that's what I paid for them on Walmart. Now, I still had to pay taxes and shipping, mind you, but it's still a $40 figure. And he got here quick. He got here quick. No issues from Walmart. Amazon has things too. I don't know if Amazon has this figure in particular. But Amazon shipping, it just takes too doggone long for me. And I'm not signing up for Amazon Prime. I'm not doing it. But Walmart shipping is good. It's so I think I'm going to start shopping, especially for figures that I really want. I think when it comes to figures on eBay, I think I'll just go like when it's on the loose for like a more a cheaper version, depending on the figure. But if I want a figure brand new, I think most of my figures you'll see me buying from Walmart. So anyway, I've wasted enough time rambling on that. But let's check out this big ass box. So you see DC Multiverse, Clayface, the side of the box here. This box is huge. I can't even get it all in the camera, but it says Clayface. It says Clayface. Lord have mercy. It's just it's freaking huge. Clayface. DC Rebirth. So you got that there. You got DC Multiverse up there. So you know. You got the back, which you see Clayface in his full glory. I love those yellow glowing eyes. I wish there was some way that McFarlane could have implemented that into this figure. Probably could have, but it probably would have cost him an arm and a leg. McFarlane Toys, Facebook, all that jazz. Facebook and all that jazz. You got the green down there. That's actually pretty cool. So you basically got Clayface looking awesome, looking scary. I don't know what that green stuff is on his hands and body. He got green going throughout him. It's not on the figure, but those living skulls that he has on his body, that's in the figure. So that's the back. You also get some Clayface DC Rebirth up there. 22 points of articulation, as we all know from McFarlane. You've got the side profile of him there. And you got him in the package in there. I'm down at the side there. You got all that. And got him in the front. And you got DC Multiverse up top. So that's the entire box. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. So yeah, so Clayface. Uh, this is amazing. This is a beautiful chunk of a figure, and I'm definitely going to enjoy it. Pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it for the most part. So I'm going to crack him out of the packaging, and we're going to get into it. And voila, here is Clayface out of the packaging. So before I get into my initial thoughts and review, we will get into accessories, which is really non-existent because I don't really consider these accessories. I don't know what I consider them, but the display stand, the Mcfarlane display stand as usual with the DC logo up there, and the Clayface picture card that you can have, which is pretty cool. Real name Basil Carlo. I always mix up his name. I always say Carlo Basil or Basil. I always mix it up, but it's Basil Carlo. I need to really get that in my brain. And so, Basil Carlo was a famous actor known primarily for his roles in horror films. However, when replaced as the lead in a movie, he went mad with rage. His life began to take a strange path when he injected himself with a formula that altered his body completely, making him a dangerous shapeshifter made of living clay who can change his physical form however he chooses. With the ability to adopt the appearance of anyone or anything, Clayface has become one of Batman's most powerful enemies. Very nice. A very nice, lengthy description right there. And I like reading the cards. So, looking at Clayface right now, right out of the box and packaging, he looks good. He looks really good. I think I get it now. I think in certain lighting conditions and camera, he looks lighter than what he is. Because when I have him in hand in person, he doesn't look that light. He looks darker. He looks darker to me. So, I do like the head sculpt. I'm not really a big fan of the way they did his teeth. I think I understand why they did it. It doesn't look horrible. It looks good. It looks pretty good. It looks real good. But I'm just not a fan of, all this crooked teeth going on. I'm just not a fan of it. But it looks good, though. And the jaw, from what I know, what I've seen other YouTubers, is articulated, which that is pretty cool. Actually seeing that in person, that's really cool. So you can open it a little more, a lot. Close it however you choose. I also like his eyes. His eyes look really good. I wish they could have did that glowing effect somehow. That would have been really nice. So you got, I don't know, skulls or people that he's absorbed into his clay, bones of the people I don't know, but whatever it is, it's cool. And also, he did look like this in Rebirth. So Mcfarlane did a really good job adopting that. You see all the little spikes and clay detail and everything. You see the top of his dome, his head. You see all these little clay particles, everything. I think Mcfarlane did really good. It's like certain light browns, certain dark browns, shading. It's really good. You see his clay fingers. That looks really good. You see the back of him. That looks really good. It's really good. So I'm not really mixed on this figure. Overall, I like it a lot. Do I love it? I guess time will tell. I need to spend more time with it. Sometime when I get a new figure, it depends on the figure. I need to spend more time with it. I guess I'm so used to having my DC Universe Classics Clayface compared to this one. So I was expecting something different, I guess. But it's not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. So you see more screaming skulls or heads or people trapped in there. I don't know what Clayface did. And they didn't really explain that in the Rebirth comic book either. Got a little shit stain going on there. I'm sorry, but I know a lot of people making fun of him, saying that he looks like a big pile of shit, a big pile of poop. I guess I can see it, yeah, but I just ignore it because I know that that's Clayface. I don't know if Mcfarlane could have done anything different. So that's just Clayface. I don't know if that's meant to be there, that little black or dark brown splotch. I don't know if that's an error mistake or not, just on my figure. I don't know. But up and down, he looks pretty good. You got his feet there. So yeah, so mostly Clayface looks pretty good. He looks pretty menacing. He looks pretty good. Uh, so in hand, I'm a little disappointed to say he feels a little cheap in hand. I think that's my biggest egregious issue with this figure. I'm not really sure what Mcfarlane could have done different, but in my hands, he just feels a little cheap. I guess the plastic just feels cheap. You know that toy companies have to cheap and skimp out somewhere. And like I said, it's probably because I'm so used to having my Matt Hagen DC Universe Classics Clayface. That's what it is. Because on that mold, which I should have pulled it out of my storage because I could have compared it. But in that mold, it's like all of like there's plastic here. Like in that DC Universe Classics, there's plastic like all through the middle. But his arms and his legs and like the rest of his body, it's like a soft, pliable material. I can't explain it. It almost feels like clay, but it's not. And I guess for me having that for quite a few years now, I guess that's what I'm used to. So having this, I'm like, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's disappointing, but I don't know. So, but there's like some softness in here. I don't really know what's going on in here, but there, like, I can feel that, like, there's some, like, and you can kind of see it. It's like some soft pliableness going on here. That's not even a word, but, so I guess for articulation purposes, as you can see. And speaking of articulation, let's run through it. So his jaw is articulated, as you guys know. His head just goes right. Okay, it can kind of tilt that way. So a little attitude, I guess. He can't look up at all. He can't look down either. But I guess he's a big dude, so his arms is huge. Woo. They stretch out about that much. He does have rotation that can go all the way around. Does he have a upper bicep swivel? Does he? He doesn't have upper bicep swivel, I don't think. No upper bicep swivel. But there's rotation here. Does he have anything in the wrist? Mine seem to be stuck because it looked like he has hinges in his wrist. I don't want to break my finger, but it's stuck. This is not a great start to the review. I'm trying to bend it, but I'm just too freaked that I don't want to break my figure, y'all. I'm so sorry. Check out other people's reviews. I encourage you and implore you because I just don't want to. I can't even swivel it, so I don't know. I guess my figure is just really stiff. Okay. So he does have rotation in this soft, pliable joint here. There's rotation. It's very limited, but he can go back, I guess, about that much. He can go forward, I guess, about that much. He does have rotation, but not really anything you can go crazy over. I'll bend it. I'll go that far. Like, I'll bend it that far. Because Lord help me, I don't want to do nothing to this doggone figure. He can kick forward. Whoa! He can almost kick himself in the mouth. You go, Clayface. He can kick back about that much. He does have some thigh rotation. He does have a bend in the knee. Looks like a single bend. And there's nothing else really. Oh, he does have some swivel action in the knee. And that's about it. So Clayface articulation is pretty limited, which is kind of it's kind of unfortunate, but it's not a deal breaker, especially not for me. It's definitely not a deal breaker. So let's do some size comparisons, and this is the Rebirth Batman that I love, love very dearly. My favorite Batman of all time. I've said that a million times in my reviews, but it is. So yeah, him with Rebirth Batman, he looks good. He looks good. I still think Clayface should be towering over Rebirth Batman, but I understand that this Rebirth Batman is 7 inches, so I think Clayface is probably like about 8.5 inches, something like that. But still, compared to Rebirth Batman, he looks good. And we have here Catwoman, and he looks good. pose with her. And next to Alfred. That looks good. Next to my custom Bruce Wayne. Next to Ascending Knight Batman. Ascending Silver Knight Batman. How am I doing? Now, he towers over him because Mezco figures are 6 inches. So he towers over this Batman. And I feel that that's how it should be. That's how it definitely should be for sure. This is my custom Ascending Knight Bruce Wayne on a Marvel Legends body. So it just gives you an idea of what he towers like over a Marvel Legends figure. This is how he's compared to Deathstroke, of course. And this is how he's compared to Killer Croc, Arkham Origins Edition. And Killer Croc, of course, towers over him. Wow. And last but most certainly not least, the main man. And they're about the same height. They're about the same height. So that's pretty cool. Oh, look at him holding Batman like a little baby. So, wrapping up my thoughts on this review. I like this Clayface a lot. I like him a lot. There's some pros and cons, definitely. I think Mcfarlane cheaped out a little bit. I think the biggest egregious thing that Mcfarlane did was, and I didn't mention in the review, they didn't give Clayface any extra arms, any extra limbs, because Clayface doesn't just, use his hands. I mean, he does, but he forms his arms and hands into different kind of weapons, like Carnage. But, he's Clayface, so he forms his hands into different kind of weapons. So, I feel that that's a huge missed opportunity. They could have gave him some extra arms where he forged his hands and arms into like some kind of axe weapon or some kind of ball or something, because that's the character of Clayface. He forges his arms into different kinds of weapons. So that's a big gripe. It's actually more than a gripe. It's kind of egregious because Mcfarlane should know better. And the other thing is the plastic feels kind of cheap. I also like my Clayface to be a little lighter because I believe even in Rebirth, which I've recently went back and read, Clayface was a little lighter. So, I mean, I don't mind the dark brown, but he was a little lighter. So, he could have been a little lighter. Could have been a little more shading on him, but the little bit that is there is nice. The sculpting of him is fantastic. It's great. Also, he could have been a little bigger. I'll admit, he could have been a little bigger. And I'm not really crazy about the crooked teeth thing. But despite all those gripes, despite all of that, this is still a pretty amazing figure. And I want Mcfarlane to keep doing it. And I think I'm hearing rumors, but I think they're going to do a classic Bane next. And it better not be a Build-A-Figure. That Bane better come like this Clayface came in. You hear me, Mcfarlane? I know you're never going to watch my videos, but I'm just saying. Clayface better come in a single $40 set like... did I say Clayface? I mean Bane. Bane better come in a single big box carded set like this Clayface came. I want to see Bane in a big single card. Bane needs to be big. He needs to be... And we need a new updated Bane. I think Mcfarlane likes doing Rebirth. So I think it'd be Rebirth Bane, which I'm totally fine with that because Rebirth Bane was awesome. So definitely do that, Mcfarlane, and definitely let it be a single release like this Clayface, most definitely. And do Solomon Grundy, basically Mcfarlane, what we're saying as fans is keep it coming, keep the shit coming, because it's good. It's good. And McFarlane figures that's coming out in the next couple of months, definitely got my eyes on it. I'm definitely going to be buying it. I'm super psyched for it. So yeah, so this figure is still awesome. With all my gripes, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm still going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's gripes and nitpicks, but this Clayface, for the most part, is awesome. There are things that McFarlane could have did different or did better, but for the most part, this is not a bad release at all. This is awesome. I definitely recommend it. You definitely should pick him up. I picked mine up at Walmart. That's where you guys can find yours. He did sell out a couple of times, but they keep restocking him. So get him while the getting is good. Because let me tell you, on the aftermarket, when this guy dries up, y'all going to be paying an arm and a leg for him. So I got him now. I advise y'all to do the same. Don't wait. If you want this Clayface, if you're a fan of, I gotta look at the card because I'm gonna get his name wrong again. Basil Carlo. I keep saying Carlo Basil. Basil Carlo. If you're a fan of Clayface, Basil Carlo, you want a big and menacing Clayface to go with your Rebirth Batman or any Batman that you have in your collection, you want this figure, absolutely. So get it. I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth a pickup. Absolutely. So that's my review, guys, of the DC McFarlane multiverse Clayface. And until next time, see ya.